Whether you're a seasoned traveler or you're dusting off your suitcase for the first time in years, there's some key packing pitfalls you want to be sure to avoid. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the most common carry-on packing mistakes and what you can do instead. Hey everybody, my name is Nick, and for the past 6 months, my wife Allie and I traveled Europe and Asia with nothing but carry-on bags. We've been carry-on only packers for the past several years now, and we have probably made every mistake in the book. So we wanted to make this video to help you avoid making those same mistakes. The number one packing mistake that I see is not doing your research and not having a plan. A great example of this is not thinking about the weather for where you're gonna be going. Now, obviously you wouldn't pack a snowsuit for a beach trip, but one that I see all the time is not bringing a rain jacket or a packable umbrella for a destination that's notoriously rainy. This happened to us in Croatia. Another example is any cultural requirements for the places that you'll be visiting. Great example of this is the dress code for churches in Europe or temples throughout Southeast Asia. Now, in those two examples, typically you'll be safe if you have your shoulders and your knees covered, but the point here is to do your research ahead of time. You would hate to get all the way to the destination that you've been waiting to see, only to be turned away because of the shirt you chose to wear. Another great way to make sure that you have a plan and follow it is to use a checklist when you pack. And if you click the link below, we've got a free packing checklist for you. The next big mistake for carry-on only packing is not understanding the rules and requirements set by airlines, the TSA, and other entities like that as it relates to travel. For domestic flights here in the United States, the standard carry-on allowance is 22 inches by 14 inches by 9 inches, but that can vary by airline. And sometimes there's a weight limit, which varies by airline as well. You okay? You got it. If you're traveling through Europe or Asia, like we did, typically the carry-on allowance is significantly smaller and there's almost always a weight limit. So again, do your research ahead of time. If your bag is oversized or overweight, you may have to pay to check it, or once you get to the gate, the agent is going to make you gate check it, which can be very frustrating, especially if you have a tight layover. Then you've got to wait at the jet bridge for your bag and you could miss your connecting flight. Another good thing to know is the TSA's rules for liquids. All toothpaste, gel, shampoo, aerosols, and other toiletries like that have to each be in their own 3.4 ounce containers, and they all have to fit within a single 1 quart size bag. A pro tip here is to put that bag in your backpack or in a very easy to reach place so you don't have to unpack your whole carry-on as you're going through security. The next very common mistake I see is not being intentional with your clothing. When you're packing clothing for carry-on travel, especially long-term travel, the first thing you want to think about is layers. As it gets colder, you can add layers, and as it gets warmer, you can remove them, rather than bringing big, bulky items like hoodies and bulky jackets. The next thing to think about is wrinkle resistance. You may not always have access to an iron, so it's nice to have clothing that, even if it's folded or rolled up, when you unroll it or unfold it, it's not gonna be super wrinkled. The next thing to think about is something that's moisture wicking. A great example is this Nike golf polo. Even if you're walking around outside in the heat, you might get a little sweaty, but it's going to dry pretty quick. Look for premium fabrics such as merino wool, which are great for tops or for socks. And those are awesome because they can be worn multiple days in a row without needing to be washed, and they're not going to be stinky. Finally, think about a capsule wardrobe. My wife Allie is an expert at this, and we made another video breaking down that topic. But essentially what a capsule wardrobe is an intentional collection of clothing where everything kind of goes with everything. Your tops and your bottoms are able to be mixed and matched. So even from a very small selection of items, you end up with a really big possible combination of outfits. Every piece in a capsule wardrobe should be pretty versatile. Speaking of versatility, the shoes that you decide to bring need to work for a variety of situations. Shoes can be really bulky, and of course, needs are gonna vary based on what type of trip you're taking, but in general, avoid things that are single use. The shoes that you bring should be basic, very comfortable, and could go with a variety of outfits. And a pro tip is to wear your bulkiest pair of shoes on the plane so they don't take up too much space in your bag. Hey, if you're getting value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. It actually helps. And let me know in the comments below, which of these mistakes have you been guilty of in the past? Another big mistake is not being organized. Okay, maybe nothing I've mentioned so far has fazed you, but you could have a great plan and bring all the right items and know all the requirements and still have a messy bag and be unable to find something that you packed. Here's a few tips on how to organize. Pack like items together and have a consistent folding method. I prefer the roll method personally. Using items like compression packing cubes can help you save considerable space in your bag. If you do use packing cubes, consider how you'll separate your items. For example, you could group items by category, such as putting all shirts together or all socks together. You could also separate items by function or by use. For example, I have a packing cube that I use specifically only for my workout gear, so it avoids getting any of the rest of my clothes stinky. And of course, this goes beyond clothing. Think about where you're gonna keep items like electronics, important documents, and things you need quick access to. For example, you don't want your passport or something else that you need quickly buried at the bottom of your bag. You're gonna want that handy. My favorite backpack ever, the Osprey Porter 46 liter, has this awesome quick access pocket up at the top, which is a great place to throw your passport, your keys, your headphones, especially when you're ready to empty your pockets for a long flight. The next big mistake I see is overpacking. And let me tell you, overpacking is a mistake. Confession time. If you're anything like me, the day or two before your trip, a little voice is gonna enter your head and say, "But what about this?" And then you're gonna rush out and impulse buy something that you've never used or needed before at the remote prospect of possibly, maybe needing it on your trip. Don't do it. Let me put it this way. When you overpack, you leave no room in your bag for anything you may want or need to pick up on your trip if you're a souvenir kind of person. If you overpack, every ounce that you pack in your carry-on bag is an ounce that you're gonna have to carry with you for the entirety of your trip. Just don't do it. Resist the urge. Make it your goal to not be an overpacker. Another good way to avoid overpacking is to avoid this next mistake, which is bringing things that you could easily buy at your destination. A very relatable example of this is waiting to buy sunscreen at the beach when you arrive at your beach vacation, or pool toys for when you're hanging out there, right? But what about things like toothpaste or shampoo? It's maybe hard to believe, but people use that stuff everywhere, okay? This is mainly for my long-term travel people, but if you're packing for a 30, 60-day trip, don't freak out and worry that you won't be able to get that stuff somewhere else. They have this stuff everywhere, guys. Now, I'm not telling you not to pack a toothbrush or not to pack toothpaste, but I'm hoping to put you at ease a little bit. Also, most Airbnbs are gonna supply body wash and shampoo, and you can always confirm that before you get there. The final mistake on our list is not testing and refining your plan. Lay everything out. Question everything that you have on your list. Bruce Lee said, hack away the unessentials. Every item that ends up in your bag needs to be there for a reason. Next, do a test pack. How's everything fitting? I'm here to tell you from firsthand experience, if you have to sit on your suitcase to close it, you have overpacked, my friend. A pro tip here is to pack your bag and then live out of that carry-on bag for about a week while you're at home. This is a really good way to remind yourself of anything that you may be forgetting or that you may need to get before your trip. If you got value out of this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. And if you want to go deeper into carry-on packing, Allie and I made a 35-minute ultimate guide to how to pack for long-term travel in only a carry-on, which you can watch right here. See you next time.